What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are at the Music Hall of Williamsburg right now. That's Misery Index, just totally destroying everything in the venue. And right now we are here with Outer Heaven. Thank you so much, Austin, for being here.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you here. We've been trying to get you guys for a while now, and it's so great to finally make this happen.
Yeah, we try to make ourselves available to whatever, whenever, I especially appreciate the effort, people like you put into this kind of stuff.
Thank you, man.
It expands the available knowledge that people have about the bands, in a different form of media than just music or a music video or an article,
Wow, you guys really do care.
Yeah, man, we try to be super cool about mostly everything, that if, you're putting in all this effort to do this, just because you are a fan, I'm assuming, so it's the least we can do.
I paid him to say that, by the way. But anyway, so your latest record is Realms of Eternal Decay. It's been out for a while now. The record is absolutely brutal. You just want to give a rundown on how the making of the record was and the record cycle thus far?
Yeah, man. We'd been writing it for a while. By the time we recorded it, we'd probably been writing it for almost over 2 years. We just were writing it in our free time whenever, no specific end goal in mind other than to just write the record, and then we'd kind of decide what to do from there. We finished writing the record, and we recorded some demos with the intention of sending them around to some labels and seeing who might bite. A few labels did bite, and we actually, before we signed to Relapse, Blood Harvest was going to put this record out for us. They expressed extreme interest in us and in the record, and Relapse had been kind of courting us for a while, but never, coming out officially, wanting to work with us. So we sent it, basically, it was about a Tuesday of the week. We sent them an email saying, hey, on Friday, I'm going to sign this paperwork with Blood Harvest. If you guys are interested, just let us know. If not, no big deal. We get it. Maybe next time. And they hit us up before the end of the week asking us to come in and meet them and, said they were interested.
What I was curious about with this record is, because, as somebody who has seen you now, this is like the third or fourth time I've seen you guys, seeing you guys live, for me, is a completely different experience than just listening to the album. When you're playing live, do you try to execute the material exactly how people are listening to it on the album, or do you try to make the live presence a little bit different?
This is a big discussion, actually, that we've always had amongst ourselves, which was that we wanted to record a record that had the same intensity as our live show, because people have always said that we kind of shine live. I think we did a great job on the record, and we actually had gone into the studio with the intention of trying to record the record live, because we wanted to see if that would make a difference, feeding off each other, vibing off each other. Maybe, it can become sterile when you're recording drums, guitar, bass, vocals all separately, because you don't have the same sort of vibe that you have when you're jamming at the practice space or whatever, So, that's always been kind of a big thing for us. Live, that's where I pour all of my energy. When it comes to recording the record, we record everything in the studio except the vocals. I record the vocals at home on my own time because I like to try different things. I like to move around. I like to do a lot of crazy shit, to get myself going in the same way that I do live. So, it's from a lot of different angles, you could look at that particular question, but, I think we do really shine live, and I think a lot of people really vibe off us live.
Now, the last time I saw you guys play was at the Rivers of Nihil show at St. Vitus, and you were playing Realms of Eternal Decay in its entirety, which I thought was awesome. And tonight on this tour with Nails and Misery Index, you sadly didn't have enough time to play the whole record in its entirety. So playing this material live by skipping songs, going from 4 to 7 to whatever, is that execution a little bit different than playing the whole album?
Sure, because we're very meticulous in the way that we laid out the album so that it flows perfectly. When you have to pick and choose which songs to put where, when you can't have them all, you have to have that same mindset, but with a different execution. You have to decide, you want to get the best of everything and the most variety, but, excuse me. the most variety, you know. So on a tour like this, where all the bands are super heavy and super intense, that we tried to play our heaviest, most intense songs. You know, we wouldn't necessarily play songs off the record like Pulsating Swarm that are very spacey and stuff, because this just isn't the crowd for that, you know.
That Rivers of Nihil show, that was a pretty
Yeah, you know, that is a show where people appreciate the atmosphere of our record and stuff a little more than maybe the crowd on this kind of tour, you know. Which is not, it's no big deal. It's just different crowds. You have to have a different mindset.
Of course, of course. And that kind of led me to my next question because, you know, I think Rivers of Nihil fans can appreciate, you know, a band like Nails or Misery Index, but in the end, one is like a technical death metal sort of thing. This is straight up fucking organized chaos right now.
And, you know, and it's funny because this Outer Heaven actually started because our original guitar player, our guitar player John was an original member of Rivers of Nihil. So he started the band in their earliest days, back when I was still in high school, and he had that band going for a while, and now two of their best guys, Brody and Biggs, their long-haired guitar player and their bass player, they joined in the band shortly after our guitar player John started Rivers. So the original Outer Heaven demo was riffs that John had written for Rivers that just didn't fit the band. So he wanted to still use those riffs because they were good riffs and good songs. So we started Outer Heaven on the side of that.
Oh, so you were the garbage pail.
So yeah, you know, and there were good songs, just wasn't quite a fit for Rivers at the time, you know. And, you know, even in Rivers' first album, the songs are a little less technical, more kind of straightforward death. So, you know, you could kind of tell where John's influence was on their first record, you know. And I spent maybe 4 or 5 years touring with those guys too, out on the road when they first started touring, and they signed on Metal Blade and everything. And so that's why we end up on some shows with those guys every once in a while. When they were doing that tour, playing their whole record, their Owls Where Owls Know My Name record, they hit us up saying they were going to do a second show at Vitus, and they said that they thought it would be cool if we did our whole record too. So that's basically the whole reason why we did it, and it ended up being awesome. We've played their record release shows for the last couple of records out in PA and Reading where we live, you know, and those guys are good friends still, you know, to this day. We all live in like basically the same town still. So.
And that led me to my next question, because when I interviewed Brody last year, we talked a little bit about the scene in Pennsylvania that you guys are from, and being that you guys are there, Rivers from there. And well, I know Pennsylvania is a big state, but I mean Code Orange is from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
A lot of great bands.
I know those guys and girl very well. I did some tours with them like 2 years ago, just doing some road dog stuff. When Code Orange first started, they were freshmen in college in Philly, and
still look like they're
you know, and they looked much younger then. Even they were just, you know, brand new to college in the city. I was a little older than them, and my buddies were. And our original bass player and I started a label, and we were putting out some small releases, and we actually released the first couple of Code Orange Kids releases back in the day, a bunch of stuff for This Is Hardcore and their demo, the Embrace Me, Erase Me tape and stuff. And I never kept copies of any of that stuff because I never imagined they would blow up to the size they are now. So
thoroughly regret that.
So, and they're worth money, and I don't have any of them. I always wanted to give them everything we had because they needed it. And, you know, but, you know, just a funny little factoid about the scene in PA can be very tight, you know. Yeah. A lot of people know each other for a lot of reasons. And I just feel like we know so many people all over the place.
And because Pennsylvania is in, like, I consider it like almost kind of like our sister state next to Jersey.
Yeah,
and like,
sure.
Like, so I'd imagine, you know, you were playing shows in New York, New Jersey.
Well, you know, where we live especially, because we're not quite all the way to Philly, we're more northwest of Philly. We're in the prime central area to get to and play shows in Philly, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Virginia, Baltimore, and they're all within 2 to 3 hours tops. So that, I think, attributes as well to a lot of our success. We were able to get out to a lot of different places, and anytime a good tour comes through and it goes through the tri-state of Philly, Baltimore, New Jersey, Virginia, there's so many chances for bands from our area to play shows. Even if you're playing Philly next week, you can go out to Jersey and play the sick tour package that was playing Philly the night before. It went to Jersey the next day, and you can still go play it. That's how we ended up on a lot of amazing shows over the years. You know, we just were in a perfect area where so many major cities were never too far away, which was great.
That's why the East Coast rules.
Yeah, totally.
So before I go, I'd like to thank you so much for your time.
Man.
You know, we got Misery Index killing it right now, and Nails is up next. But is there just anything else you would like to promote after this tour for the Realms of Eternal Decay record cycle, or new music coming out?
We're writing right now. You know, we're kind of just seeing where this record takes us. Got maybe like the bones of 2 songs down right now. Not sure what we're gonna do with them yet. I have a couple ideas, but we're just gonna keep playing out. We have some festivals, Clairvoyance Fest down in Kentucky, that's in July. We're working on getting out to the West Coast before the end of the year, and then a couple other things. We're constantly coming up, so you know, keep an eye on any of our pages or anything, you know, for more details.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Everybody, Austin of Outer Heaven, Realms of Eternal Decay. Pick that shit up if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.